Hello everyone, and welcome back to my Linux channel, Bite of Linux. So when it comes to video editing in general, there are some very good choices out there like Adobe Premiere Pro, Avid, and Final Cut Pro on Mac. But when it comes to Linux, you really don't have that many choices, and also taking into consideration that many of these pieces of software are very expensive, and you just might not be willing to spend that much on a piece of software. So, on Linux, there are actually many different good video editors, and the one I'm going to be looking at today is called OpenShot. Now, OpenShot just recently got updated to version 2.3, and one thing to know about OpenShot is I feel like in the past, it really wasn't that great. I mean, it had not a lot of features, it was pretty buggy, and it just didn't feel like a complete video editing software. But over the years, as all the updates and features came, it feels like it's finally coming together. So in this video, I'm going to do a quick installation, and then after that, I'm going to be reviewing it and showing you some of the basic commands and techniques to use OpenShot. So let's get started. So to begin, let's first download OpenShot. So open up a web browser, and here you want to go to the webpage openshot.org. So here you have some information about it, some news. Looks like there's an article here. But if you go to the second item in the menu, you will see download. So click on that. And you have your Linux app image download. So this is for 64-bit computers, but you can also click other Linux downloads, and you have all the different versions that are available. And also, if you're on Windows or Mac, then you also have the Windows and Mac installers. So since it uses an app image, you can basically install it on any system. You don't have to worry about different types of files and packaging. But if you're running Ubuntu, you can also get it through the PPA. So I'm just going to download the regular app image file. So just start downloading right there. Now it is 217 megabytes. So it will take a little while. And I'll resume when it's finished downloading. So the OpenShot app image has successfully downloaded, but to install it, we're actually going to have to look at the commands for running an app image. So if you go open up a new tab here and look up appimage.org, this is the app image homepage. It's very handy. You can see some more information about it here. So scroll down and see how to run it. So to run it, this is what we're going to run. And let's go to a terminal and navigate over to that folder. So I've downloaded it, put it in downloads, so just do that. And we can see that's right here. So over here, we can see that we're going to start with chmod a+x, and then this right here. You can see that I already have it there. Copy, and then paste that right there. And if we run this, should just do that. And now we can just simply run / and then the name of the file. So just run that. And I'll do something like this and wait for it. Here we have it. Great. So if you don't want to run this every time, we can actually close out of this, close out of all of this, open up our file manager, go to downloads, and actually once we have done that, it will actually render all of this. And make sure before you actually double click on this and run it, that you have it so that it runs it as a program. So right click, click properties, and if you go in permissions or something like that, it might be different for your system. Make sure it says allow executing file as program. So once you have that checked, you can simply from here just double click it and it will open up the application. So now let's start looking at the application itself. So let me just enlarge this quickly. Okay, so this is the OpenShot video editor. So first let me just show you the basic components of it. At the top, you have your standard bar here. Below that, you have all your icons, so that includes stuff as new, open, save, undo, redo, and then like import. And then below that, over here, you have your project files. So anything that you actually import will go here. So from there, you can drag it down into this thing over here, which is called the timeline. And here is where you're actually going to do the sequencing, the trimming, adding in sound, all that stuff. So the real editing goes down here. And then if you just want to play that back, you can view it in the video preview. And that is what your project will look like even before you render it. So now let's just create a small video. Okay, everyone. So I just created a small folder of different clips, and I'm going to import it into my project files place right here. So you can use your own clips here. So you just want to take them and select them all. So I'm just going to use all of them and drag them and place them into the project files area. Now, if you have an image, you want to select yes when it says, do you want to import fighter plane into an image sequence so that you can actually place it on the timeline as an image. So hit yes for that. And it should be done importing. So close out of that. So we have all our assets imported here. So I'm actually going to start by dragging a piece down. So now down here is a slider, and you can actually slide this to move between your videos. So I'm going to start this at 0 right there, and then drag my clip down. So let's just use this one right here. So you want to take this, and notice how there are different tracks. Now these tracks indicate your video. So you can actually put one here, you can put another one here, and you can layer them so that you can actually have multiple videos playing at the same time, or multiple audio. Now one thing to note is that the track at the top will actually play the video on the screen. So if you have a full screen track at the bottom and then another one on top of it, you will only see the one on top. So let's just put this down here. So we have that here. So if we just play that and go through it, you can see we have some basic thing right here of this plane going. And now notice how at the beginning there was some black stuff. See that black right there? So what if we don't want that? So we can actually use the trim tool for this. So there is a slight delay there between when it actually starts. So what we can do is actually hit Control and then your scroll wheel, and then that will zoom it in. So now I did a Control and then scroll up, and that zoomed it in all the way. And of course, do the opposite. You can just do the other way. So I'm here now, and now I can go to exactly to the part where the video actually starts. So about right here, and then click on the scissors icon. Now this is the razor tool or trim tool, split tool. So click that, and you will see something like this, like an X-Acto knife or something, and just click on the part where you want to trim, and it should trim like that. So now we can just deselect the razor tool like that, and we're back to normal. So I'm just going to select my initial clip and just delete that, and move this all the way to the front again. So now when I start it, you will see that it just immediately starts the video like that. Great. So that was the basics of putting in a video in and trimming it. Okay, so now suppose I want to put my next clip in. So I can of course drag this down here and make sure it's on the top one if you want to have it play before. So now in this one, I'm actually going to use it and transition between the two clips. So if you play it right now, let's just drag it right here and play it. You will notice that it just hard cuts to the next clip. But I want a slight transition. I'll just make it a little bit better. So let's just move this a little bit there. Now, notice over here, you have a transitions tab. So click on that, and you can see that there are actually a ton of different transitions. Quite a lot, actually. And we can just select one of these. So let me just do a classic fade and drag that onto the clip that you want to fade. So I'm just going to put that right there, and you can align it to the beginning to start the fade immediately. And of course, you can drag it to make the fade longer, shorter, but I don't recommend putting it more than the actual clip ending, or it won't fade it. Let's put it like that. Now if we play it, we will see that it fades slowly. It's kind of like a crossfade, so you don't notice it immediately, but you can kind of see it if it's this long, the fade between them, and you can already notice it right there. So it's like that, and it's fading. So now suppose I don't really want the whole length of this clip, and of course I can just trim this back down. Go to project files, click that trim, and just trim that part off. I can delete that and just select all of this and simply bring it back to my spot. Okay, good. So now suppose I want to import my images in, so these two right here. So what I can actually do is just simply drag it into my timeline. And now notice I can actually resize it, and this is because it's not really a video, it doesn't have a set length, it's just a still image, so I can drag through it and it'll just be the same the whole time. Now you can also move this to the track below if you don't want any animations. And over here on the side, you will have duration, so you can right click, and you can just resize it, and you can see the duration on the side there. So make that like that, so that's about 20 seconds, and we can add the next clip in, which is this one. And for this one, I think I'll add a transition. So let's do that. Click on transitions. For this one, let's do blinds. Put that right there, and then resize that to there. So you can see that it goes through the image, and then fades to the next image over here. Okay, good. Now, so that's all the image and video stuff, but now let's add a cool sound track to it. So I have my sound track right here, and you can just drag it into your timeline similar as a video or picture, as what you do with that, and drag it to extend. Now, of course, if your video doesn't go that long, then you can't extend it past it, you just have to go like this. But now here you'll notice a problem. The soundtrack is actually shown as a video track. So what you're gonna have to actually do here is move everything up here to a different level, like so. And then just move this soundtrack to the bottom, so it doesn't actually display. And of course, you'll still have the sound playing on the background. And we have sound playing, which is great. So you have all that, and that is a full video. I mean, you can actually export this and share it. So to export it, let's go to File and Export Video. You can also use Control E. Now before doing this, I recommend saving it, so we can just do Control S or File Save Project, and it will save it in the format OSP because it's an OpenShot project. You can put this wherever you want. Put in videos. Let's name this Fighter Planes. Name it whatever you want, and save that. And just make sure to consistently save to get all your work down. And now you can export. So here is the export video dialog, and we can set all the different specifications right here. So first of all, you want to set your path. You can browse here. I want it right there, and then set the name of it. So cool fighter planes, and then for profile, I just recommend leaving that to all formats so that it plays across everything. If you want to narrow it down, you can select one of these. Now, you can also select your encoding options. So you have MP4 to MPEG and AVI. So you have all of those. And you can set your quality as well, video profile. Now, it also depends on the clips that are in it. Mine are mostly 720, so I'm just going to leave it at 720. So you have that. In advance, you don't really have to worry about this too much, but if you want to, you can select your start and end frames. And then once everything looks good, you can just hit export video and it'll start exporting that. You have a little progress bar right there, and I'll just resume it when I'm done and show you how it looks. Okay everyone, so the video is fully rendered now. So if I go to my file manager and just open this up, you can see that it's there. And everything plays properly. We got the sound and everything. The images look good, and yeah, the background music's present also. So yeah, that's just a simple project. You can do this with your own clips, and I just really like how OpenShot can let you do this, and it's not that complicated to do. So with the release of the new OpenShot 2.3, many new features were brought in. So now here are some clips from the OpenShot demo video. So the first feature is the new transform tool. So you can like set the points and then make it transform around the screen like so. There is also improved zooming on the editor itself, so you can easily change your view of the editor. Then you have an improved title editor, and this is nice. It also comes with lots of different templates, and you can edit every line of the template. Then next, you have improved animated titles. You can use these different single line titles, like intros, stuff like that. Then the razor tool is actually improved. I kind of showed you a little bit of that in this video itself. A little better than before. Now, if you want a preview of your video, like in a separate window, you can actually push that out and preview that separately. And also finally, the documentation is much better now, so you can easily search for any command out there. So everyone, you saw it. That was the OpenShot editor for Linux. And if you want, I recommend this. Donate to the developer. This is a very good piece of software. And the reason I like it above some other video editors is because it's fast, meaning that it renders things pretty quickly. You can import stuff also fairly quickly. It's easy to use. I was able to create a video after the first time using it. And also, it works on all systems as it uses an app image file, which I think is very smart to do. Okay, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more awesome Linux videos. We're getting pretty close to 100 subscribers, actually currently at 82. That's really cool. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.